Good afternoon. My name is Roger Zayer, and today I'm going to present you my ethics and disposition presentation. Since I know Dr. Hansen loves quotes, I decided to start off with a quote that kind of rung with me as I read it. It is not the position, but the disposition. I love that quote. It made me really ask the question, like, what is disposition and what is its relation to being in a specific position? And so I came up with my own personal definition as I started researching that, right? It's a natural, subconscious way a person acts or behaves and perceives the world around them. So I highlighted two things: acts and perceives. That's something external and internal that a person displays. And I believe the purpose of our degree program, as we all went through this degree program, was to be educated on different views and perspectives with the overall goal of shifting our natural way of thinking. So today I'm going to highlight my 5 dispositions that have changed while pursuing my master's degree. Number 1, teamwork. Number 2, equity and inclusion. Number 3, communication. Number 4, leadership. And then I added my own, which is grit. So let's get started with the first disposition of communication. So what is this communication disposition? Well, I believe it's the ability to share those ideas and perspectives and opinions both personally and professionally in order to build a team to accomplish goals. So the intent of this disposition is to shift our pattern of communication behavior for the positive. And I believe this is this directly correlates with our student learning objective that candidates will demonstrate a professional skills and attitudes in leading institutions to meet diverse or the needs of a diverse organization. We need solid communication to be able to do that. The ethics out of this, right? We get honesty by having a good understanding of this process. We get understanding and also consideration for the people that are around us. And I do see this as the framework for professionalism because this is the baseline from which everything is built. Now I start with each of these dispositions. I'm going to reflect back to where I think I learned a little bit of this. And in this case, this was 6302 Leadership Theories. There was a quote that came out of there. Communication is not a thing, it's a process. And just like this disposition, I see this as a process of understanding and changing that it's more than just words and symbols, but it's more about understanding the people around you and communicating in a diverse way to build a solid organization. All right, so my next disposition is teamwork. And I've seen that the understanding of teamwork, or my understanding of teamwork, has shifted over the last year and a half, almost 2 years that I've been doing these courses. So personal definition, the ability to connect with others for a common goal, but while respecting differences. And that was the key thing that I got out of this, right? So the intent of this disposition is to prepare us to work in a professional environment. We actually did this a lot in a lot of our courses, was to work together. And I think I saw that actually in the student learning objectives that candidates will showcase skills and professional ethics through many different things, as it mentions, but scholarly initiatives, right? To build relationships both internally and externally. And I think we have done that. I know I have done that both professionally and internally between the classes that I've had. The ethics out of this, right? We get joint decision making, communications again, accountability, and self management. And this is the framework for professionalism. What this does is you get productive collaboration. That's kind of what I get out of that. Now, thinking back to the classes, again, 6302 Leadership Theories. Apparently, I got a lot out of that class. A quote that says, effective teamwork is essential in all matters of life. So I think this is something that we should really focus on, or I'm happy that we focused on, because we saw this not just as we were doing our courses and get to practice and have better understanding of working together, but this is something apparently we are going to deal with our entire lives. So it's very important that we understand this concept. So my third disposition would be leadership. And by understanding of leadership shifted a lot. I used to see this as just more of a positional type thing, but as you can see here, my personal definition has changed. It's the ability to reflect and identify capabilities that people have in order to accomplish common goals. So the intent of this disposition was for us to gain knowledge of not just ourselves, but also others in order to capitalize on the strengths of these individuals and yourself to achieve these goals. The ethics of this, you get unity, there's less stress, this allows for focus and a sense of accomplishment. The SLO that kind of reflects this is pretty obvious, but candidates will apply knowledge of leadership and administration to support leading and success in professional settings. Um, so the framework for professionalism, I kind of list this as this is the iron to the shirt. You know, with good leadership, um, you know, you can iron out those wrinkles within an organization, allow this organization to succeed or be more pristine than than it was before. So that's kind of where I see this framework. And again, 6302 leadership theories. Learning how to be a great follower, it should say follower, is a prerequisite to becoming a great leader. And I love this quote. So this quote stuck with me for a while. So now let's move on to the equity and inclusion disposition. I believe this is the disposition that changed the most for me. My personal definition is the ability to professionally and effectively work with people of all cultures. The intent of this disposition is to understand the importance of diversity and the impact that it has on the workplace. The SLO that kind of reflects this is the ability for to lead in institutions to meet the needs of diverse organizations, and the ethics that are focused with this. When you have an equitable and inclusive environment, it is safe. You get people are relaxed about their identity and they have that sense of belonging. I think that's very important for an organization to strive. It's not just the the professional capabilities or knowledge that people have, but also their awareness of their surroundings and how they feel about the environment that they're working in. The framework of professionalism is the creativity and the innovation machine. And this was something that I definitely learned, especially in 6301 social and cultural influences. I learned a more diverse team will outperform a more qualified team. And that was something that has kind of stuck with me. And that was a really great course and really interesting to learn kind of those concepts of diversity and how it affects positively an organization. And my final disposition that I created is grit. My personal definition is the ability to passionately accomplish your goals despite setbacks. And I believe the intent of this disposition for all of us is to understand the importance of commitment and the power of belief. Dr. Hansen actually does this every single class when she says, you can do anything for 8 weeks. That is her instilling grit in every single one of us, that belief that you can do, you can accomplish your goals. The significance of this to my profession, being in the military, is our success and our goals allow us to live the way we live here in America, and our failures affect everyone. And the mentality that we have is that there's no such thing as failure, as the mission must go on. As I started doing a little bit more research into this, I was reading a book about grit, and one thing that stood out to me where it says grit matters more than talent. So you may have all the talent in the world, but without grit, without that determination to push past setbacks, you may not give yourself that opportunity to display that talent. So anyway, I appreciate the time that you all have given to listen to my presentation, and I hope that you got something out of it.